My dear friends, we are going strong. And if you have been following my lively and lovely sweater, Christmas sweater, hope you have owning one of those. If you're watching this, maybe it's already the start of the year and you're thinking, why is the guy still wearing the Christmas sweater? It's to motivate you and remind you to stay still with this Christmas spirit. And wherever you're listening to this or hearing this, because I'm sharing this in different formats, sometimes video, sometimes audio, mostly both for the convenience and so that people can actually return to this, listen to this where they are at. And I encourage you, if you have time to watch these videos. I try to make them funny. I'm not always as funny because this some of these topics are quite serious, but I'm trying to bring some humor and trying to bring some inspiration, motivation for you to really kind of digest it, because a lot of these topics can be quite, I would say, tiring because they are not always really visible immediately. It's like this delayed gratification, if you will. If we talked before in the last two videos about the why, the purpose, the daily action, and kind of accountability, a lot of these topics are common knowledge, common practice. The thing is, it's not common practice, and even if it is, it might be done in a way which is ineffective because we are not getting the results as we would like to. As Einstein says, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expect a different result. And I want to give you these bites and these shots of inspiration, if I call them, to digest that better and to take your time, because I know a lot of times we try to digest a course, we try to digest something, and it is tiring. And we need sometimes something smaller, something chunkable, something eatable that we can really go back to it, re-listen, and really get motivated, because a lot of content out there, and I'm not judging, is boring, and it's really a lot about people and themselves and not really about you. And personal development and a lot of this work that we do on ourselves and really growth mindset and content around growth mindset that I'm sharing is a lot about the vision for yourself and how to build your skills, how to build yourself up, how to be better. And it requires effort, it requires motivation, and that's not always sexy. And I want to bring this to you in a way that you're gonna like. And that's why, we talk in the last two episodes about the why, the purpose, the action, and the accountability. And then in the next session, I gave you a little bit more of a flavor and example how I would go setting up this vision for these different areas, from health to fitness to business, and so on and so on. So if you haven't heard that, please listen to it. Those episodes are quite related. But today I want to give you a little bit about a feeling about a quick start. So when you are choosing the path, you're like, okay, I'm going on a path. What can I do now, Matteo? What would you suggest? So first, I would give you two options. First is choose your path. You can do a quick start. This is often the path I take. Do you prefer to, just get started, or do you like to seeing everything planned out? And this is your journey, right? If you're looking at through an hourglass or through really ahead telescope down the road, and you want to see your life unfold in a way you want, and I was giving you an example of maybe the dream role, you might want to go the detailed road. And some of my favorite inspirators and speakers, one of them is Brandon Burchard, and he says, before you go to the woods, it's good to have a map. And I couldn't agree with him more, especially if we're looking at our lives nowadays, especially where I'm living, which is now recently, over the past few years, in Germany. And Germans I know for planning their life out quite long ahead, which you could agree or disagree, but sometimes it can be very handy. But if we choose the quick start, I would really look at what do you need to do? What is the bare minimum? It's about recognizing the steps that will take you there. If you want to work out, it might be buying the shoes. What are the actions? You need to go to the store. You need to go to Amazon. Order these things. You need to set up the alarm so you get momentum quickly. And it might be setting up a two-step worksheet. So I have this PDF that I set up, and it's called How to Grow Sustainably. So if you're interested in this, and you don't need this sheet, to be really honest, you can follow just these videos and make notes in your journal or these audios when you are not driving. Please don't do this when you're driving, but you can identify these steps. So if we go to those last examples I gave you, which is, thinking about these areas about health, with, what type of food you want to eat, how do you want to feel. So you could take two actions or two goals that you have in these areas. For example, stock up your drawers with healthy food, or cook meals or prep meals every Sunday. Second could be, I want to work out, 3 times a week, this day, this day, this day. And you're going to put these goals. And then the second drawer could be family and friends. What type of relationships? How do people make me feel? I need to go out, network to make more friends, whatever it is. Then you have work. That could mean, what type of people you connect with, how do you talk to your clients. So again, re-listen to the previous episodes so you can kind of shape. And again, this is open to discussion and open to change and suggestion. So you can draw your own questions. Then the side project I talked about is, this is a big area for many people, just to have balanced life. You can, create your hobbies to support your life and a little bit have this diversity, if you will. And then you have the extras, finances, business, your love life. If you don't have, and even if you don't have, maybe you need to go dating. And out of, maybe out of these things, pick 10 or build 10 so you can extend it. But I would suggest to keep it easy if you want to do the quick start, and pick those maybe three that are easiest to achieve and circle it. Put a star behind the goals, and see, okay, how can you build momentum the quickest. And often this is the interesting thing: when you circle these things, when you take action and move to those immediately, oftentimes this is how you're actually gonna get results, and you're gonna feel satisfied, and all this dopamine and all this, you know reward mechanism gonna kick in. And if you're interested in this, please read book from James Clear, Atomic Habits. Very interesting. But there are also other books, actually. James Dahik, I think, The Power of Habit. So there is a lot of interesting books that go back to setting up habits, setting up plans. um, the highly Stephen Covey, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. You can also go to that to really see what people do on a kind of recurring basis. So one thing can be, flossing your tooth or your teeth. That can be, like, for me, many years that was a challenge until I put it as a goal, and every day I had to come and I have to click the button and say, I'm doing it, I'm doing this now, I'm writing it down, whatever that is. The key is to commit every day and kind of check it. So you could have a planner where you do a tick box. You could have, a different type of tools. Back then I used a tool which allowed me to create these goals, and then I could check them or tick them every day. You could also use, tools where you friends actually have to check on you, so the power of accountability. And you can create a planner in Excel and just check in every day and know, okay, in the end of the month I've done so and so, or I didn't do well. I need to improve. The second part of this is the roadmap, and this is again open to change because you can create it the way you want. But in the end, what I would really suggest you to do, just like in a quick start, create, 12 boxes, maybe in Excel, or do it in PowerPoint, and create, those goals. This is the GPS. This is where you want to go. And you can turn, by by your action, by change. And one thing what I would really suggest you to do, which I suggested in one of the video, is writing kind of ideally how your year looks like from these things. Print it out, hang it somewhere, maybe circle or highlight these main things you want to accomplish. And then based on that, write a detailed scenario. So my health is fitness, it's health, and these things. It might be 1 page, 2 page, and that might mean really something that is your annual commitment. This is, where you include sentences that benefit you. What are the negative consequences? Maybe if you want to quit smoking. I had it actually once with a friend, and we committed money to that, and he lost, unfortunately. I know smoking is hard. I've never done that, but I know for many people it's hard to quit smoking. But you might commit to something like losing weight to by then and that time, and if you don't achieve it, your friend will, gain $200 or whatever that is from you. But if you accomplish that, you might, save X amount of money. So you could, it can be monetary, it can be, something else, going for a dinner. And you should have this as a monthly guide or quarterly goal to really keep it on the top of the page. So if you're writing this, these 12 kind of blocks, and there you have goals there, it should be, on an annual basis, and then you should kind of put it back into quarterly basis and then into monthly basis. There is tons and tons of material out there on Google and planners and all these things. But if you're interested, again, I have created a little PDF with maybe 10 pages where you can actually get this, and I'm giving examples. And then you have also the annual commitment. So in 1 year I will x y well z. Then I have, this is important to me because, going to the purpose, going to the while, quarter one, months one, months two, months three, quarter two, month one, months two, month three, quarter three, months one, months two, month three, quarter four, months one, month one, etc., etc. So you can set it up for all these goals, and then you have for weeks as well. And is it a one-time project, is blah blah blah. So there is so much that can go into it. Do I use this? Yes. Am I using it always? No. What I really do is, can tell you from my experience, this is subject to change, especially if you're starting out. You might go all in, or you might be too scared. So you might need to experiment with this. But now, for me, I'm driven a lot by vision board, having that in front of me for the entire year for these areas. And then I have my planner where I plan these goals out, and I know, okay, on quarterly basis I want to have that. But often things can change as well, because your plate gets bigger, your goals get bolder, and you figure out, oh, I actually didn't accomplish that, so I need to shift that, or I need to be more patient. This is actually the truth many times, at least for me, in this stage and part of my life where I have bolder goals and I know they take longer. So you need to get at it, go at it regularly. So I hope this helped you and gave you a little example and inspiration that it's not difficult, but you need to do the work. And this is the hard part, because you will need to get to it. You will need to, you know, motivate yourself. And if you need little inspiration and how I go about life and values, I have written this ebook, Mastering Body, Mind, and Life. And if you really want to change your life, this helped me. These are kind of principles I guide my life with from probably the last 10, almost 15 years, but probably my last 10 really, really accurately. And it helped me. And sometimes these things get piled up together and build up together. So we need to be patient with these things sometimes and do the work one step at a time. So I hope this helped you. I might have actually wrecked the mic. I hope that works still. But as we are starting or finishing the year, starting the new one, please take action. Be kind to yourself. Don't beat yourself up. Know that this year can be better, or the next year can be better if you take consistent action, if you're better with yourself, if you're kinder, better, and stronger human being. Remember, you got this. And there are people who believe in you and who need you, but you need to do this work, because otherwise you get the same result. But if you want a better life, better lifestyle, you got to do this work. You got to put in the hours. You got to put in the miles, even if it hurts, if it sucks, if it's often the laziness and often the inability to get ourselves motivated. But this is possible. So I believe in you. I wish you a great end of the new year and amazing start in the new year. Remember, there is so much you can accomplish. Just have the will, determination, and patience, and the way of the turtle, as I call it. You got to keep going each and every day. So until the next time, stay awesome.